2 years ago, I did a video where I ranked all the games I played in 2020. And while I didn't do it last year, I want to bring it back for this year. I did change it to games I only beat this year, not just games that I played, as in give more concrete thoughts that way. This isn't a ranking so much as just a fun way to end the year by looking back on what I played on and giving my thoughts. So think of it as a bunch of small mini reviews compiled into one video. The order the games are shown in is not how they rank over the other. I mean, there is a numbered ranking I give the games that will be displayed in the corner, but the focus is more about the game and not the arbitrary number score that I gave it. I won't be covering games I made a review on already, as there's already a review for that. If you're interested in my thoughts, you can just look at them that way. The only exception being Cuphead, as in that video I talked about the new DLC and not the actual game. Overall, 2022 was a decent year for video games. The few games I did play that came out this year were pretty good. I missed a lot of good games though. Neon White, Sifu, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Bayonetta 3, King of Fighters 15. All looked really good. I didn't get to play them sadly. I didn't play any Persona this year. Is nature healing? No. I'm gonna relapse so hard when Persona 3 Portable comes out. I'm unbelievably excited for Street Fighter 6 and Tekken 8. I have been hyping Street Fighter 6 up for so long and I have very high hopes for it. Atomic Heart looks good as well. I'm excited to see that finally coming out. Resident Evil 4 Remake looks really good as well. I still need to beat the original Resident Evil 4 though. But enough about that, let's get the actual video started. Lunistice. This is an indie game that came out this year and has not received nearly enough attention. It's a cute indie game with a cool blocky art style. It has 7 worlds, each having 2 acts. It has obvious inspirations, but has plenty of its own original ideas. The platforming felt precise and the music was enjoyable. There isn't a lot to say, as it just does everything really well. It's a $5 indie game, and you can get a lot out of the Switch demo. Just want to talk about this first, because if you take anything away from this video, it's to please play this game. Crash 4, it's about time. I've been a Crash Bandicoot fan for a while now, and I really love this series. I played way too much Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled, and the original trilogy remastered was a lot of fun. When Crash 4 was announced, I never got around to it for some reason though. I finally played it this year, and it was amazing. The visuals are so flashy, the cutscenes are so animated and lively. I love all the new character designs that lend themselves to the style. It feels like such a natural look for the series, and I kind of wish the Insane trilogy looked like this instead. The gameplay was great, the platforming controlled well, and the level variety was great. The masks were a great new addition that felt like a natural evolution for your moveset. The boss fights as well were pretty memorable, if not a little short. The different characters like Tana, Dingodile, and even Cortex were really fun to play at. My only gripe is that halfway through their levels, you need to beat them as Crash again. I don't know why the levels couldn't just end when you stopped playing as that character. While I tried to collect all the gems, it's extremely tedious, and decided I would just have more fun playing casually instead. The soundtrack was good, and overall, it's a really enjoyable time. There's jokes for longtime fans, but I think even new people to the series will enjoy it. I didn't find the game that difficult. There are parts that are hard, sure, but nothing that a few tries you won't be able to get past. Multiverses. Multiverses is Warner Brothers' version of a platform fighter, and it was alright at best. The roster, while a little small and lacking variety from franchises, has been receiving updates over the year, adding characters from all different franchises. The roster is also the best part. All the unique dialogue is a really nice addition. Plus, what other fighting game can you play as my favorite Warner Brothers character, LeBron James? But the fighting felt clunky, the fact they emphasized 2v2 so much and not 1v1 felt really weird to me, and that's the main reason why I didn't like this game. Super hot. This game was fun as hell. The shooting was responsive, the mechanic of time only moving when you move is such a brilliant idea that I'm honestly surprised people haven't tried to replicate this since. This is a type of game that you can just play and hours fly by. You get so absorbed into the game as you focus on your goal of killing polygons. Overall, the most innovative shooter in years. Kirby Star Allies. I wasn't huge on this game. After playing Kirby in the Forgotten Land and loving it with every fiber of my being, I was excited to try a more traditional Kirby game. I was a little disappointed. The level design was simple and unmemorable, the variety of abilities was nice, but you had to switch your ally or your own ability a lot, which kind of sucked because I liked having the legacy characters I was vaguely familiar with. So then I would have to switch my ability, but that would limit what I would want for gameplay. Yeah, you can ride your partner, but I just want to play as myself. It's a fine game overall, but just felt lacking, especially with a shorter campaign. Milk inside a bag of milk inside a bag of milk. This game was alright. It was short, like less than an hour short. The few horror elements were good, just wish it was longer. I know there's a sequel, so I'll probably check that out, but keep in mind, it was also only $1, so I can't really say I wasted my money, because, I mean, what else are you going to spend $1 on? Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. I know this game has its fans, but it wasn't as good as I expected it to be. Maybe it just got overhyped. I love the movie, and I know the game adapts more from the original comic than the movie by Edgar Wright.
Is Scott here?
You know what?
He just left.
The game is a side-scrolling beat-em-up arcade game where you fight hordes of enemies. The soundtrack was amazing, but the gameplay was just alright. I feel like this is the type of game where the more you play it, the more you like it. And I've only done one playthrough, so maybe if I do more, I'll like it. I'm not the biggest fan of the side-scrolling beat-em-up genre, so there's that as well. But if what I said sounds interesting and what's on screen seems interesting, check it out. I hear it's one of the best in the genre. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure All-Star Battle R. I actually have a video plan for this game, so I won't say much, but overall, I like the game. Last of Us Part 2. So I know this is the game everyone got mad at, and honestly, thinking back on how I ranked Last of Us Part 1 so high in my 2020 video, I've come to ask myself why. I enjoyed the game, but honestly don't think it's as good as everyone always says. The story felt generic, and while the beginning and ending of the game was done really well and easily the best part of that game, the middle was just okay. I'd lower it from the 9 I gave it to either a 6 or a 7. And that's still not a bad score. Don't let the American grading system confuse you. But at the time, I was worried to just speak my mind. But as I've grown, I've decided I'm not afraid anymore.
Do you hear me? I'm not afraid anymore.
Playing The Last of Us 2, I absolutely loved it. I'm so glad the story took risks and tried new things, and personally, I think they paid off in the end. I will be going over spoilers, but if we're being real, I think we all know the basics of this game's story. When Abby killed Joel, the game gripped me from that point, and honestly, it's surprising people reacted negatively. Yeah, you like the character and are sad he died, but I didn't think his death was cheap at all. Joel's relationship with Ellie made him a more open and kind person. It makes sense he would want to trust Abby when saving her. Even in the first game, he helps people out all the time, and that's when he was more jaded. So when he's less jaded, I can see this happening. Plus, it's not like he had a lot of time to think. There was a bunch of zombies after him. There are still plenty of Joel parts in the game, so it's not like they killed Joel off and then didn't do anything with him, because that would have been lame. He's dead, but he's still relevant throughout the whole game. The Abby parts, I thought were genius. The game makes you empathize with Abby as you go through so much shit with her. You walk a mile in her shoes. My only few complaints with the story are that I wish Abby's story was more relevant to Ellie's. I thought for sure we would see Ellie kill Nora, and that was what alerted Abby to Ellie's presence, not Abby just finding a map that led to Ellie's base. You could still have the Day 3 section with Abby happen on the island, as Lev still needs to go there. Tommy should have also died. It's weird for a game that has such a focus on realism that minor stuff like the map and Tommy living can affect the story as you go, oh, okay, so we're not that realistic. The ending I liked as well, kind of. The literal ending was good. The path to the ending was kinda goofy. Ellie just walks to California, where Abby and Lev have been captured for months, and are somehow still alive despite the fact they should probably be dead. And it's ironic for a game about there really not being evil, but more so moral grays. And then you go to California, and the Californians have slaves and tie zombies down around their campsite because they're super evil. I mean, yeah, California sucks, but just felt jarring going from a more subtle antagonist to, no, these guys are just evil. The fight between Ellie and Abby was good, and I genuinely can't imagine why people wanted Abby to die. I don't want to say you missed the point, but you missed the point. But enough about the story, what about the gameplay? It's good. The shooting was fun, the stealth was great, the environments had a lot of routes, so you had a lot of freedom in how you tackled an area. The first area, where the game is semi-open world, had me nervous though. I thought it was going for an Uncharted 4 approach, which, while isn't bad, not really what I wanted. Thankfully, that doesn't stay around after that part. It was a hard game to put down after that point though. I really got connected to all the characters. Visually, the game is impressive, the animation is so fluid and lifelike. But the performances, specifically Bella Ramsey, were the most impressive part. Last of Us 2 is a really good game. While I don't think it's as good as everyone else, it's not as bad as everyone else says as well. It's just a really solid game that has a really good story, and honestly, I think the outrage around it is annoying on both ends. That's not to be, oh, look at me, I'm so cool, I'm in the middle, I don't care, you guys are all stupid. It's just, there's better stories, there's worse stories. Just play more stories. The Quarry. I love this type of game, despite how often people hate on them. I'm not gonna act like it isn't somewhat warranted. Jason! 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 The Quarry is an interactive horror game made by the studio that made Until Dawn, which was also really good. The story is goofy, but it basks in the cheese of a horror story.
What the fuck is she doing?
All the characters are archetypes from the genre. While the game starts slow, it picks up the pace quickly. There's a multiplayer mode where you can play up to 8 people, handing the controller to whoever has the character. I'm glad this was built in, as with other games you just hand the controller. I played this with a friend, and we had a great time. The gameplay is basic, but it always kept me paying attention for sudden prompts. There's a rewind feature, so once you beat the game, you can replay if you get a character killed and fix that mistake. My main gripe with the game is I wish there was an ending to save everyone, or even an ending where everyone gets infected. I'd wait for a sale to pick it up, but invite some friends over and you'll have a great time. Cuphead. I replayed Cuphead this year, and I can't believe I forgot how much I love this game. I reviewed the DLC, and my thoughts are still the same on that. I've been replaying the base game since, trying to beat all the bosses as Miss Chalice. There isn't a lot I can say that hasn't already been said on the game. The art style is amazing down to every detail. The soundtrack is amazing, the gameplay is good overall, although there are complete horseshit parts in this game. I hate the stupid robot so much. I'm glad this game got a show. It's crazy to imagine the team that went from remortgaging their home to then that dream game becoming so popular that it gets its own Netflix TV show. I wish these guys the best, and while I'd love more Cuphead, I really want to see what new ideas they throw our way. 2 years ago, I talked about Yakuza 0, and I said this. But I got through all the tutorials with him, it's like, I don't want to do another hour of tutorials, so I stopped playing, which sucks because I didn't even get to the funny parts yet. Maybe I'll pick this game back up and I'll enjoy it, but I'm not a huge fan of all the tutorials. I am here to say, I am a idiot. I quit right before I hit the gold mine. Yakuza 0 is a bold, creative, over-the-top action game that had a story I was surprisingly invested in. Everyone is like, oh, this game is silly, it's a silly game. And it is, but there are some devastating moments in this game. There's so much to do in this game that's so easy to go, shit, I just spent 2 hours on this pocket racer game. The combat is so exciting with the over-the-top moves and satisfying combos that pull off. You get 2 playable characters, each having 3 unique movesets. While the menus are a little confusing initially, it's not that bad. Just make sure to do the real estate side quest as you play, because I didn't until later in the game, and it made it a lot harder. Kiryu and Majima were amazing characters to play as and experience the story through. I can't wait to play the rest of these games and see how their stories continue. After beating Yakuza 0, I bought Yakuza Kiwami 1 and 2. I also bought the Yakuza Remastered Collection and grabbed Yakuza Like a Dragon when it was free on PS Plus. I went from not caring at all about this series to now being incredibly excited about Yakuza 8. I know everyone said it, but please, please, check this game out. It's amazing. The beginning is slow, but if you make it through, you will experience one of the best games of 2017. Spider-Man Miles Morales. Miles Morales came out and I didn't really see much discussion on it, which is weird since Spider-Man 2018 was so loved. Overall, Miles Morales was good, although the story was kinda eh. It wasn't bad, but if it was longer, I would have liked it more. The twist villain was extremely obvious, which is whatever, but you don't feel shocked as it isn't really a big deal to you since it's not really a betrayal to you, as you just met the character in the previous scene. If we'd gotten more scenes with her before, we could have empathized with Miles a lot more. The gameplay was even better here. Web slinging feels just like it did in 2018, but where this game differs is the combat. Miles has electricity powers which allow you to release a burst of electricity in a powerful attack. Racking up combos was fun as always, but the new combat additions were great and felt like such a natural extension. Invisibility for stealth was also a nice addition. I did platinum this game like 2018 as well. This game was easy though. I played on the hardest difficulty and only died once or twice. It's a good game. I just wish there was more of it. Also, you can't take a selfie at your dad's grave. That's lame. This is why 2018 is better. But, you know what's better than both of these things? Basic Chill's review of Miles Morales. I swear, there is a part in this video that will blow your mind. I've seen it 3 times. It gets me every time. Miles Morales, 7 out of 10. Basic Chill's review of Miles Morales, 10 out of 10. Donkey Kong Country 2, Diddy's Conquest. I love the Donkey Kong games. Hot take, I know. But I mean, seriously, I love Donkey Kong Country Returns and Tropical Freeze. Even Jungle Beat is a great time. However, due to the world being cruel, I had never actually played the original trilogy. Last year I played Donkey Kong Country and loved it. A lot of people consider this game the best in the series, and also one of the best games ever made. And I can easily see why. The platforming is great, and the music is unmatched. Even all these years later, these games have such a unique ambience and environment to them that nothing has replicated Sun. Dixie Kong was really fun to play as, and easily the best character. I liked all the new animal buddies. There's really nothing wrong with this game. It's just unfiltered fun. The Kremlings have such a fun charm to them, and while I love the Tiki Takis and Snowmads, the Kremlings are unmatched in their charm. I know Microsoft owns them, but I'd love to see them return in a new Donkey Kong game. Overall, a great game, great platforming, great stages, good difficulty, great everything. Play it if you haven't. Pokemon Legends Arceus is the Pokemon game I always wanted as a kid. Changing the catching to being real-time instead of turn-based was such an instant game changer. but I'm still surprised they didn't bring this over to Scarlet. The best part of this game is finding a mass outbreak, going there, and catching 20 Pokemon rapidly. The game is slow at first to get through all the tutorials, but once you get past them, the game opens up into this adventure. Yes, the game isn't great visually, and for a $60 AAA game, it should be better. But the gameplay is so much fun. It's so addicting. I remember just hours going by, and I'm still just in the same area catching Crogunks. I really like how they handled the Pokedex and how you're given extra tasks. Everything in this game is fun to do. Even evolving Pokemon feels like this badass thing you do. Like, yeah, this guy really just evolved. That's what this should look like. The story is fine. I like the characters, but the time versus space is goofy. It's like in Ruby and Sapphire. Guys, we need both land and water. What are you talking about? The game follows a formula of introduce new area, new characters, explore area, do main quest, small story ends, repeat. It's simple, but it works, and I looked forward to each new area due to this. The areas weren't huge by any means, but they had plenty of space, and it allowed for you to remember what is where due to the size. I enjoyed Legends Arceus, and I hope this becomes a new thing Game Freak does. I would love to see more of this. NieR Automata. I went into this game completely blind, and I came out completely blind, with tears. NieR Automata is not what I expected at all, and I could not be happier. I really want to make a video on this game. Everyone needs to play this game. No hyperbole, no jokes, play it knowing nothing, and you will have one of the greatest experiences you will ever have in gaming. Bayonetta 2. This game is insane.
I believe! I believe! I fucking believe!
Beautiful.
I played Bayonetta 1 last year and I liked it. It was good, the combat was fun, and comboing enemies was satisfying. It is one of my favorite bosses I've ever fought in a video game. Platinum Games always makes good games, and I need to make my way through more of them. After playing Bayonetta 2, I felt an urge to replay it ever since I beat it. The combat was satisfying and combos were great. The levels were more insane, with the intro level being amazing from start to finish and instantly grabbing you. All the characters were great. Loki was kind of annoying, but you get over it. I know the still cutscenes in the original game were due to budget restraints, and seeing them here, I wasn't the biggest fan. In Bayonetta 1, it made sense since Bayonetta had memory issues, so her having memories be more static was a cool workaround on a behind-the-scenes issue that made sense within the universe. I wasn't really huge on them here though. I just wish it was fully animated, as some of these scenes animated would have been really cool. The gimmick levels weren't as bad as Bayonetta 1, and there aren't as many. The music was amazing and puts you right in the mood to just destroy absolutely everything in over-the-top combos, though they should have played Moon River more. Please, it was so good. While the story was kinda confusing, the gameplay is what keeps you hooked and continue to play. I can't wait to play Bayonetta 3. I have somehow managed to hear nothing on it. It looked great from the trailers. I can only hope the Switch can handle it properly. Doom Eternal. We've been talking about over-the-top action games, and action in this video a lot. Doom takes a different approach to action. Doom 2016 was good, but it didn't stick with me as much as everyone else it seemed. Doom Eternal, on the other hand, was amazing from start to finish. You have a grappling hook shotgun, which was designed specifically for me. You chainsaw enemies in half and pick up ammo. Doom Eternal allows me to play shooters the way I want to play. The tutorials weren't bad, as more often than not, just a prompt on screen, but I don't know if it was really necessary. It was nothing groan-worthy by any means, but the enemies are designed to clearly show their weakness. This game is rated M. I imagine most people can figure out, oh, if it's shooting from the arm cannon, I aim for the arm cannon. My only real actual complaint is that the Crucible felt oddly weak. When you use a chainsaw, you feel the weight behind it. It's like, wow, I'm really killing this guy. But with the Crucible, you just slice a little like it's nothing. Even when you do a glory kill with your slicer arm, there's some form of gravity and weight to it all. Of course, the second best part of this game is the soundtrack by Mick Gordon. Each track is back-to-back action, and I can't believe this was snubbed for Best Original Soundtrack at the Game Awards still. If you like what you see here, I'd get it for sure. Don't worry about the story, as there are plenty of explanations on YouTube, as most of the story is codex entries you find around the map. You play this game for the gameplay.
You can't just shoot a hole into the surface of Mars.
Kirby and the Forgotten Land. This was my first Kirby game, and it was non-stop fun from start to finish. Each level was creative and had a unique theme to it. Each music track gave each level life. All the new designs for the characters were wonderful. Me and Alex had so much fun playing this in co-op. This is my game of the year, and one of my new favorite games. Thank you all for watching. I thought it would be nice to get this out before the new year. Making these videos is just fun for me. I'm glad I'm able to create something good enough that people seem to enjoy. Hope you have a happy new year and an even better 2023.